Mississippi, you know a little about Sally Kate Winters Family Services in West Point, fourth consecutive year that we have been here to talk about the incredible work that is going on. If you're new to SuperTalk Mississippi, perhaps this is entirely new to you, and we look forward to sharing it with you throughout the course of the day today. Ashton Woodson is a program coordinator and works with the Children's Advocacy Center as part of Sally Kate Winters Family Services. Thanks for getting up early. Good morning to you.
Absolutely. I'm excited.
Good to be here today. Children's Advocacy, there's a lot that can go into that particular title. Before we get specifically into your role, let's talk big picture about Sally Kate Winters Family Services. Been here a long time, doing a lot of good work, and not just the Golden Triangle, but areas beyond, surrounding counties as well.
That's right.
Tell us a little bit about what happens here, just kind of a high-level overview.
Sure. So I've been here, this summer will be 8 years. We have a Children's Advocacy Center. We started off as our emergency shelter. That was in 1990. And then we grew. We have a transitional living program as well. That is for children, well, young adults. For young adults, that is 17 to 21.
Okay.
And then we have our Child Advocacy Center. We also have a runaway and homeless youth program. And we have safe place sites throughout the Golden Triangle and a couple of other counties throughout Mississippi.
And I'm glad you used that phrase. There's a big sign on the back wall that says safe place. And that's
right.
what ultimately Sally Kate Winters Family Services is about, right? Creating a safe place for children who are coming from bad circumstances, abusive circumstances, to get them to a place where they are safe.
That's correct.
On the children's advocacy side, in terms of your role on a daily basis, what does that look like?
Okay, yeah, so I've been the CAC program coordinator since September of last year.
Okay.
I was the multidisciplinary team facilitator for 7 years prior. So day to day, we have children come here that need any type of service that has to do with child abuse and neglect. We start off with forensic interviewing. Then that is so that children don't have to go to law enforcement offices and have those sit-down conversations with law enforcement. We have a child-friendly setting here, and the children will disclose or not disclose to our forensic interviewer. We also have our family advocate. The family advocate provides mental health services, making sure that we make the proper referrals for the children who need trauma therapy. We also have we make referrals for our forensic medicals to UMC. They have safe centers. And we provide any other referral that family might need or that child might need.
Yeah. You said something a second ago. You said child abuse or neglect. And obviously the abuse piece of this is, worst nightmare stuff for many of us when we think about children and being robbed of their innocence. But in terms of neglect, sometimes that means families, parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles that just don't have the ability to care for a child the way a child needs to be cared for, right?
That's right.
And so what does that look like? Because that to me seems like a very different scenario than a child that comes in as a victim of abuse.
Yeah, so neglect is anything from medical neglect, not having transportation to get to medical appointments. It could be not having funding for the proper amount of food that the family might need in the home, lack of water resources, lights, not having lights in their home. And some of these things can, you don't have to take a child out of the home for. It can just be MDCPS helping put those resources in the home, and maybe us just making a referral for services. And then you have your more severe neglect that maybe the family has to be moved or the child has to be placed outside of the home until they do get the resources into that home.
Yeah. It's heavy stuff. It's serious stuff. I'm curious how you handle that on a day-to-day basis, because we kind of go about our lives. We go to work, and in a best-case scenario, we leave our work at the end of the day and go home to our families and then turn around and do it all over again. I don't know how, when you do this for 8 years the way you have, you're able to separate the two things, to leave your work at the end of the day.
Yeah, so it is hard, but I have been here 8 years. I've learned how to
Compartmentalize almost?
Compartmentalize, taking care of myself mentally, physically, making sure that I do have proper self-care routines.
Sure.
But yes, it is hard. I think it takes a specific person to be able to work with child abuse and neglect. And I think that's why a lot of people turn, to move outside of child abuse and neglect. I think that's why there's a lot of turnover into some of the positions.
Well, and there's also got to be a really rewarding piece of this, knowing that when you go home and put your head on the pillow at night, the work that you're doing is creating better outcomes for children coming from bad situations.
Right.
Great to see you as always.
It's good to see you.
Yeah, see, I told you this would be fast and easy. Not bad at all. Ashton Woodson, she's a program coordinator with Children's Advocacy Center, part of Sally Kate Winters here in West Point. We got a big day with you. We'll be here all day long. Rebecca Turner will be along, have middays, got Sports Talk this afternoon. Glad to be with you in West Point, Mississippi. Sally Kate Winters Family Services. Quick time out. Get the news next, then the 7 o'clock hour of mornings with Richard Cross.